Hello, my name is Alexa Gelby and my Canada number is 0041. Today, I'll be discussing questions 1 and 2 of the Creative Critical Reflections by analyzing My Magazine Sidelines. The first question is, how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? Before creating my magazine, I had to conduct research on sports magazine. I used Sports Illustrated, Slam, ESPN as my research and reference magazines for my final product. Let's begin by analyzing the different conventions in these cover pages. The first one is Sports Illustrated. This issue was released in October 2019. The color scheme of this page are warm colors such as orange, red, and yellow. Not only do the colors represent the season this issue was released, but it also matches with the uniform of the athletes in the page. The masthead, Sports Illustrated, is centered towards the top of the page. Only the first letter of the word is capitalized. Issue number, date, photograph credit is in a small thin font above the masthead letter D. The cover page consists of one main image. It is a studio picture of two athletes to represent their relationship as athletes. Although it is a studio picture, the models are still in their baseball uniform, with their glove and ball as props. Lastly, the cover lines were placed wherever there was space in the picture. Two of the cover lines lie above the masthead. Another two lie in the center of the page in a smaller font. In addition, another cover line was placed above the player to the right. Meanwhile, the cover line Cobra Best is in a larger and bolder font towards the bottom of the page. Next, we have the magazine Slam. The masthead Slam is in all capitalized in a large and bold font. In the letter M of the masthead, there are 3 stars. The color of the star matches the player's uniform. In these stars, it has the publication issue number. In the same letter, towards the bottom of the page, the website of the magazine is found. The image of the cover is a famous basketball player in the court. At the bottom left of the page, there is a barcode. Similar to Sports Illustrated, a cover line is found above the masthead. Another cover line is to the left of the cover in a large font, while the other 6 cover lines are to the right of the page. Lastly, we have the ESPN magazine. The color scheme of this cover page is blue, red, and white. Similar to the Slam magazine, the masthead of ESPN is all capitalized in a bold font. In addition, the masthead has a clear line through it. Just like the other magazine, there is a cover line that lays above the masthead. Meanwhile, the rest of the cover lines are to the right of the page. In the right of the page, there is also a barcode, and next to this barcode, there is a publication date and issue number. Above this, there is the website where the magazine is found. Now it's time for My Magazine Sidelines. Let's start off with the masthead. Similar to 2 of my inspiration magazines, I wanted to have the masthead in a bold font and capitalized. However, instead of having it centered, I wanted it to be left aligned for the purpose of my magazine. The color scheme is orange and white. I recreated the color scheme to match the athlete's uniform. I wanted to have a barcode to the left since there was space. To the right of the barcode, I included all the social media platforms of the magazine. Instead of including a cover line above the masthead, I decided I wanted to include the publication date and issue number. Meanwhile, all the cover lines are to the left of the page. For the cover image, I wanted to have a picture that showcased an athlete and a scholar to portray a student athlete. Now, we will be analyzing the conventions in the table of content. In the Sports Illustrated magazine, the image takes up the whole page. To the bottom right, there is a description of the image being used for the table of content. The table of content has a title named Lineup. Under this title lays the publication date and issue number. The department divisions are at the bottom of the page. To the left of the page, there are the page numbers and articles. The page numbers are in a small circle. Next to the page number are the different articles with a description of the article. Next, we have the ESPN table of contents. At the top left of the page is the publication date and issue number. This can also be found in the bottom right. The main image is a studio picture. Unlike the Sports Illustrated table of contents, the picture only takes up 3/4 of the page. However, similar to the Sports Illustrated, it includes a description of the image with the page number above it. Under this image is the page number, article titles, and the description of the articles. Lastly, we have the SLAM table of content. The title of this table of content is in the paint. Under this title is a thick line with issue number and date. The image takes most of the page. It is also a studio picture. Towards the bottom of this image, there is a see-through text box where the page number and articles are. However, this table of content did not include a description for the articles. In addition, at the bottom of the page, next to the page number, is the website of the magazine. In addition, I wanted it to keep it traditional to the sports genre by including the table of contents as just one page. Now for my table of content. I was inspired by Sports Illustrated and SLAM to include a title for this page. However, I wanted it to keep it simple. Table of content. Write a line at the top of the page. To the right is also the main image, which is a studio picture. Inside this picture, I included a description of the image, similar to how Sports Illustrated and ESPN did it. The page number and the article titles are to the left of the page in a white space. SLAM inspired me not to include a description for the titles. Lastly, I included a website at the bottom of the right page. Lastly, we will be analyzing the conventions in the feature spread page. In the feature spread of Sports Illustrated, there is a large action picture that takes up 2 pages. The text is placed under this image. Meanwhile, there is a second picture in the second page. To the side of the first page, it includes the publication date and issue. ESPN includes 3 pictures next to each other. The middle picture shows the athlete in the game. Meanwhile, the other 2 pictures show the athlete outside of the game. The text is divided into different columns. These columns are divided with a thin line that separates each column. The designer chose to include a quote from the article and placed it in a large red font. Lastly, the publication date and issue number is found at the bottom of the page. Similarly, SLAM includes the article into different columns. These columns are also separated by a thin line. Each page has a large picture. The first picture is a picture of the athlete in the court. The second picture is the same athlete outside of the court. At the bottom of the page, the website of the magazine can be found. For my magazine, I wanted the feature spread to have a title included. That's why I placed the title in the page to the left. I divided my article into 4 different columns. Just like ESPN and SLAM, I wanted the columns to be divided by a thin line. Just like all the magazines, I wanted to include pictures inside and outside of the game. As far as pictures, I wanted the pictures to resemble the athlete as a student athlete. I did this by including pictures of them in the classroom and in the game. At the bottom of the page, I included the website of the magazine. In addition, I included the publication date and issue number, similar to all the magazines I used as inspiration. Now I will be discussing the social groups and issue my magazine targets. The social groups I will be targeting are high school students, middle class income, average age of 16. 70% of the readers will be male, young athletes, and sports fan. The social issue my article tackles is showing others that a student athlete does exist. Meanwhile, the article can be seen as an encouragement to those that struggle to balance a sport and their schoolwork. The second question is, how does your product engage with the audience and how would it be distributed as a real-world text? My magazine engages with the audience through social media platforms. In the cover, there is the address to all the platforms the magazine is promoted through. In addition, my magazine engages with the audience through the website of the magazine. The website is included in the table of contents and the feature spread. This website will allow consumers to go on the site to check out the magazines. On the other hand, the article is told in an informal tone with an encouraging language. In addition, this article is told in a third-person point of view. Furthermore, my choice of model shows the diversity of race in the different types of sports. Now, I will be discussing how my magazine will be distributed as a real-world text. The magazine includes a barcode in the cover page with the price tag. My magazine will be distributed in supermarkets' newsstands, for instance, Publix, Barnes & Noble, and Target. The yearly subscription will cost $40 for 12 issues. This yearly subscription will be a mail subscription. Due to the target audience being high school students, high schools will have a subscription plan of $580 for 24 copies of 6 issues. The subscriber will be able to see the magazine before it's released. They will be able to cancel it any time. The magazine will be also in digital platforms, such as the website, for the same price. The magazine will also have an Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter account. Social media will allow the magazine to be promoted in various ways. That completes the Creative Critical Reflection 1 and 2. Thank you.